All right, jumping right into things here. I've got the lower radiator mount fabbed up and we just tacked it into place here. It's going to hold the radiator at an angle, which should clear the winch real nice here. And then we're going to space it out just enough from the engine to make sure that the hoses are going to be able to clear. I'm going to put some tubes across the top here and then build the mount for the top right off of those tubes. All right, making some good progress on the front end over here. We've got the fair lead is in, winch is mounted, and then the radiator lower bracket is in there. I'll show you down here. Those are Honda Civic bushings in a plate that I made. That's just a Honda Civic radiator, so it's set up here. It's leaning against the engine with a piece of wood right now, just to kind of make sure that I was going to have the clearance that I needed in there. But I'm going to build an upper bracket coming off of these protection tubes up top over the engine. So it ties in right there, so I'll make a bracket that comes across here and then use the Honda bushing for that. And then that'll be real nice there. These tubes will be removable later. I'll once I get some cross pieces in there, then I'll just cut them and put some brackets in here or something to sandwich together, and then that way this whole thing will be removable in case the radiator needs to come out or the engine needs to come out, whatever the case may be. That'll be a separate part. But it's coming along, and soon we'll be doing some tubing in the back. So I'll probably mess with this a little bit more later on tonight, and if I can get that accomplished, then tomorrow I'll probably work on like a harness bar and cargo space. I got to build a little back bumper-ish area and then like a floor, something to come off of for the floor. And then the back will be coming along pretty quick. I think it won't take that long to do that. And then we're going to be back to waiting on some parts. We should have some more stuff here soon. I think later this week the Johnny joints come in, so I can start mocking up some stuff there. But ultimately it's going to have to go on the rack, get leveled out. We're going to have to do some axle work and get that stuff prepped so that and get everything lined up, and then order some control arms. We're planning on going with aluminum links on this thing, so we'll talk more about that and probably in the next video. But so far, really happy. It's coming out nice, so we'll update you later. All right, it's the next day, working on this upper radiator bracket here. Got a tube put in place and just finished making this tab. It's got the Honda rubber bushing for the Honda Civic in it, and a little bit of a fight to get it in there. It's a tight tolerance, but I didn't want it to be sloppy. So this is just gonna set right in here. I'm gonna tack weld this thing up into there, and it should be good. All right, working on the drawing a little bit this morning. Added some of the tubes in the back and ready to go work on that. Got the back bumper area in case this thing backs into a tree or gets hit. This will help to protect things a little bit. And then these tubes are tied into that to help act as a floor. We'll be able to put in some angle iron bracing that'll outline the cooler and some of the other cargo that'll be back here. Fuel tank's going to be back here as well. And right here is the harness bar. Be able to wrap the harnesses right around that, come out through the seats. So I'm going to work on this and see how it goes today, see how far I can get. But it's really shaping up into something now, and excited to see how this thing turns out. Soon we're going to be working on axles. I got to get those things stripped as far as the bracketry and stuff. The leaf spring brackets got to come off of them, and start fitting those things up soon here. All right, knocked out a bunch of tubing here. It was just a bunch of back and forth to the notcher trying to get everything dialed in perfect, make sure that the level was in the bubble the whole time, and that everything's gonna end up working out real nice and looking good. So back bumper's in, support tubes are in, and there'll be some tubing that goes in this area real soon. As soon as the axles are under there, I'm gonna have to build bump stops, and they're gonna come off of here and tie everything together real tight. So it'll also help for impact stuff, you know, if it gets hit in the back and everything, that everything is really tied together at that point. Kind of did the same thing on my buggy with those. It's just really strong that way. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Now it's time to get started on these axles. These things need cleaned up. They've got some leaf spring brackets on there that need to go. And I got to make some room because the Johnny joints are going to be here probably in the next couple days. And we're getting real close to being able to set up that chassis on the lift over there and get all these axles lined up underneath there, get everything straight, and then start measuring for links. So I want to get these things cleaned up and ready to go so we don't have to mess with it later. All right, most of the bracketry is cut off here, and now it just looks messy. We're gonna have to grind everything smooth. I don't like to get too close to the tube with the plasma cutter because in the past I have busted a hole right through and I'm ended up welding it up, and it's hard to get it to seal sometimes if it's oily in there. So it's just best to grind that down the rest of the way. So here's a quick look at it. All right, off to lunch. We'll get grinding when we get back. All right, monkeying around here with this gas tank. Is a 3-gallon fuel cell, and we're gonna try and make a mount that captures the bottom portion of this. And so what I'm doing right now is we're gonna use some angle iron on the sides, and then I've taken some measurements here that's gonna go, I wanna make a piece that kind of captures around this. That way the lines are able to be accessible, but then it'll kind of be almost an anchor point. So up in the computer, I've got just this drawn up, and that should go right around here. Use my best tape measure skills, and we'll see what we can do. All right, got the bottom section together. It's nice and snug in here. Doesn't really move around forward or backwards or anything. And then if you rock it like this, it'll come out around those fittings. Move back in. So my next step is to make a top frame and then bring a piece down to here and bolt it together. That way it can come out and be removable. And then I just need to figure out a spot where I'm gonna mount this thing in the back. I'll put a couple tabs off of here and bolt it down. All right, did a little bit more work on the fuel cell project. Got a top plate capturing everything here. And then it's got these hold downs that come down here, and they bolt through to a tab that's on the bottom section. So all I need to do with this thing now is pick a spot on the chassis in the back and build some mounting tabs and bolt it down. But it's got these hold downs on both sides, and it should work out well. All right, getting ready to make this front engine cover section removable. We're gonna make a couple cuts here, here, and then back here, and put in some flanges so it can bolt back in. But we're just gonna slice that up. I'll make some tabs or some brackets on the table over there, and then we'll get them all welded in. I'll show you how that is made, and it's just gonna connect with some 3/8 bolts, and that's what'll keep it in place. All right, here's the part after taking the Sawzall to it. Pulled out of there. Left with the little nub sticking up. And we'll make it attached to them. All right, making this part here on the computer. This center hole will go around the tubing, and it's 1/10 of an inch larger than the outside diameter, so it should slide right over it. And then I set it up with 3/8 holes so we can use some good hardware that'll have a little bit more shear strength if this thing was ever impacted. All right, we got these things in position using a magnet, and now we'll be able to bolt together the other part and tack it up. All right, it's all bolted in and just about done. I gotta dismount it one last time to put the radiator in its spot there, but otherwise that thing is now removable. So I think that's that. We're gonna end this video off here. And we're waiting on a few parts. The Johnny joints are ready to go in probably next week. We'll have that ready. So we'll get the axles down from up top and put this over on the rack, get things lined up so we can get ready to order some aluminum links. All right, knocked out a couple more tubes on the chassis. I got these gusset tubes in here on all four corners, and I'm gonna end up plating this triangle here, and then that will be the landing spot for the upper link mount tabs. I'll put some tabs in there, and then the Johnny joints will bolt right in there, and then I'll be able to pull measurements once I lay this out with the axles on the lift. Unfortunately, I did get some news. Only about half the Johnny joints are in, and we are waiting on the rest of them. They're telling me it's about a 2-week back order, and so that's going to put a hold on things. That's going to hold us up with this project. So my plan is I'm going to change gears. We're going to set this aside until those get here, and then that way I can make sure I pull accurate dimensions and we order the right length control arms. But I've got some projects to work on with my own buggy back there. I got some major changes, so I will record that and put something out video wise, and maybe we'll throw a little history in there as well. But that's about all that's going on. I'm going to end this video off here, and hopefully we get some parts soon and I can move on to the next section. But stay tuned. Hopefully next week we'll have another video. We'll see how this goes. See you soon.